afternoon. On News Analysis today, federal government pledges commitment to expand community radio as a tool to strengthen the nation's democracy. Naira falls to an all-time low of 1,534 naira per dollar on the official Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market. Emir of Kano Alhaji Aminu Ado describes as suspicious the relocation of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria and some departments of the central bank from Abuja to Lagos. Details coming up shortly. Welcome back. You're watching News Analysis live on Politics and Business TV. I am Omoefe Peace Osemere. Now, the federal government has pledged its commitment to expand the community radio as a tool to strengthen the nation's democracy. This was disclosed by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, in a statement issued today in commemoration of World Radio Day. World Radio Day is celebrated annually every February 13th. Idris said the theme for this year's celebration, titled Radio, a Century Informing, Entertaining and Educating, highlights the remarkable achievement of radio as a means of communication and information for over 100 years, despite the advent of social media. The minister, who noted that radio plays a vital role in promoting cultural unity and also the diversity in our nation, added that it also provides a platform for people of all backgrounds to speak out, be represented and be heard regardless of their ethnicity, religion or political affiliation. Idris stated that owing to the radio's wide-reaching information dissemination, the government has initiated necessary reforms in the process of establishing community radio stations. Now, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, said there was no going back on the ban of the importation, manufacture, distribution, sale and use of alcoholic beverages in sachet and glass bottles of 200 ml and below. NAFDAC's Director General, Professor Mojisola Adeye, insisted that the ban was for the benefit of all Nigerians and to save lives. According to media reports, the announcement that NAFDAC would begin the enforcement of the ban on alcoholic beverages in sachet had generated repeated protests by distillers and labor unions, who said the move would cost 500,000 workers their jobs. But the head of public relations officer at NAFDAC, Christiana Obiazikwo, clarified that NAFDAC did not ban alcohol production in bigger bottles, but alcohol in containers or packing that a child can easily conceal. The Naira fell to a new all-time low of 1,534 against the dollar on the official Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market yesterday. This, according to FMDQ Exchange, a platform that publishes official foreign exchange trading in the country, indicates a loss of 3.93% fall, or 58 naira, from the 1,476.13 to the dollar. The national currency closed last week Friday. Media reports have it that Monday's official rate is the worst official exchange rate since the Central Bank of Nigeria floated the national currency June last year. However, at the parallel market yesterday, the Naira traded between the rate of 1,480 Naira and 1,490 Naira. You're watching News Analysis live on Politics and Business TV. Still to come, House of Representatives Committee on Solid Minerals proposes 5% of revenues on solid minerals to host communities. This and more after the break. Do join us again. Welcome back. The Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado, has described as suspicious the relocation of the headquarters of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria and some department of the Central Bank of Nigeria from Abuja to Lagos. The Emir spoke when he received the president's wife, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, who paid him a courtesy visit in his palace in Kano. According to media reports, the Emir also asked Senator Oluremi to tell the president, Bola Tinubu, that Nigerians were facing difficulties due to the high cost of living in the country. The Emir of Kano, whose speech was translated from Hausa to English language by a senior palace councillor, has said, and I quote, "We are indeed suspicious on why Mr. President single-handedly relocated key departments of CBN and outright relocation of FAN to Lagos." End of quote. He said the federal government should come out clean and address Nigerians in the languages they would understand. The House of Representatives Committee on Solid Minerals has said it is proposing 5% of revenues on solid minerals to host communities. This was disclosed by the chairman of the committee, Jonathan Gaza, at a public policy dialogue on Nigeria's minerals and mining legislation organized by the committee at the National Assembly Complex, Abuja. Gaza said the Nigerian Minerals and Mining Act Amendment Bill being considered would give 5% of the total revenue of all minerals mined to the host communities. He said the bill, when passed, would allow for the establishment of a mines inspection and environmental agency to provide improved and deeper oversight of mining activities and bridge the gap between the federal and state governments to empower the Mineral Resources and Environmental Management Committee for effective and joint oversight. Now, the National Agency for the Control of AIDS has urged Nigerians to protect themselves and prioritize their safety and well-being while expressing affection during Valentine's season. The agency said this in a statement signed by the head of the Public Relations and Protocol Unit of the agency, Toyin Aderibigbe, ahead of Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is celebrated annually on February 14th, which is tomorrow, to share love and gifts. The Director General of NACA, Dr. Gambo Aliyu, said, and I quote, "As people celebrate love on Valentine's Day, we want everyone to enjoy it while prioritizing their well-being." End of quote. He also urged the general public to incorporate protection into intimate moments, undergo regular HIV testing, and engage in conversations about sexual health with their partners. Now let's talk other matters where the World Bank last week said 7 states across the northwest and northeast regions of the country may suffer food crisis due to high levels of insecurity and armed conflict that has reduced the standards of living across the region. The bank in its latest food security report also stated that most areas in West and Central Africa would remain minimally food insecure until May 2024. This is coming amidst plans by the government to cultivate 323,000 hectares of farmland producing wheat, rice, maize, and cassava for the 2024 dry season farming. The states highlighted by the bank are Borno, Adamawa, Kaduna, Katsina, Yobe, Sokoto, and Zamfara State. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has ordered the immediate release of more than 102,000 metric tons of various grain types from the Strategic Reserve and Rice Millers Association of Nigeria. According to media reports, this is a temporary response to the nation's growing food crisis and the rising price of commodities. It would be recorded that angry youth and women took to the streets of Minna, the Niger state capital, and Kano to protest what they described as the rising cost of living in the country. We also understand that similar protests erupted in Ondo State. Now, joining us to discuss this is a public affairs analyst, Ibrahim Musa. He's right here in the studios this afternoon. Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Many thanks for having me.
All right. Let's talk about, ensuring food sufficiency. Let's start with food sufficiency, first of all. We understand that a lot is going on in the country at the moment with so much to take in, and they say that an angry man is what again? Or a hungry man is an angry man, right? So apparently there are a handful of, hungry Nigerians on the street today. And when I say hungry Nigerians, no pun intended, But I mean, that just has to do with the reality on ground. Now, there have been protests over the cost of living, surge in the prices of food and other essentials. But is it uhuru yet? I mean, for us to start, even protesting or expressing so much, displeasure with the reality on ground?
Well, we are in democracy. Each and every citizen has a right to express his feeling. But I think the demonstration or strike is not the answer. The issue is the government should look at the population of Nigeria. We are many, we are over 200 million. And we have a lot of resources. We have arable land. And in fact, it's a shame to each and every leader, as a leader in Nigeria, to witness this type of food shortage, because in our river basin alone, we are blessed with billions of cubic liters of water, both surface and underground. And we have a lot of river basins. We have double advantage. We have an advantage of dry season farming. We have vast land for cultivation. And I think the leaders should focus their attention on how to invest heavily on agriculture. Let's diversify our economy into agriculture. We employ our youth through there. Because according to the estimate we made, I think 2-3 years ago, we are able to find out over 70 million Nigerians will be engaged, will get a job if the agricultural sector is properly harnessed. So I think the federal government should not even to be talking about 102,000 metric tons.
Yeah.
General Muhammadu Buhari administration, the former president, released 400,000 metric tons of grains, but that was not enough. So I think the best thing is...
okay, so ordering an immediate release of, grains at times like this, or in times like this, it is no longer news.
It's no longer news. They have been doing it, and it's not solving the problem. I think we have to have a strong agricultural reform. We have to go back to basics. We have to treat agriculture as a science. We have to, in fact, educate our farmers through agricultural extension workers. We need to have both state and local and the federal government should work in tandem to ensure that our farmers are educated through agricultural extension workers so that they can adapt a modern farming technique. Okay. This local farming technique we inherited from our forefathers is what that is dragging us back.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry to jump in real quick. I mean, you said earlier that if Nigeria can actually look beyond crude oil and also diversify the economy such that we tilt towards, agriculture, there is an estimate that 17 million Nigerians would be engaged. And of course, we know, the impact that will have on, the unemployment or the employment status of the country. However, there are claims, that Nigerians are enjoying the lowest living cost in Africa. What do you have to say to that?
Well, I don't think so. If you look at the situation and if you look at the purchasing power of a common man, and if you look at our currency, the value of our currency, even this food shortage, I attributed it to our neighboring countries in Niger, Chad, and the other West African. They used to come during the harvesting period to buy these grains from our local markets. So I even attribute this hardship to our currency is very, very weak in the international market, and our money has no value any longer. If you look at this CFA is stronger than Naira now, and all these West African countries, they are using it. Even Ghana cedi now is stronger than Naira. So I think what we should do, the economic team of Mr. President should at least work hard and ensure that we have a stable Naira price, we have a stable control on our Naira, so that we get a strong currency that will compete with each and every currency within the African sub-region.
Right. Now, for you, I mean, you even had to compare the previous administration under former President Muhammadu Buhari, who at the time released 400,000